My best friend believes I owe her everything, including my boyfriend. I know I should be careful calling someone best friend in a post like this, but I don't know how else to call Jessie. Our parents are great friends, so we grew up together, and she kind of had my back in high school. Long story short, on the teenage food chain, she was on the top, and I should be on the bottom. But nobody messed with me because I was Jessie's friend. Jessie is one of those people who requires attention. I never mind it, though. Nobody's perfect, right? But now that I have my first real boyfriend, she doesn't know how to behave. Every time we're together, she's really handsy, always touching his arms, running fingers through his hair, complimenting him. And now she even started with the prank spankings on the butt, you know? I just feel really uncomfortable with it. Maybe it's normal. I mean, Jessie has a lot of guy friends, so maybe this is okay. My boyfriend never thought much of it either. Am I just overreacting? She's super pretty, so maybe I'm just jealous. Anyway, yesterday something really threw me off. Boyfriend had to do some work and I had a book thing hobby. So we decided to meet later at a friend's house. They were getting together to drink and so on. Boyfriend finishes work early and calls me, but I don't really need him to come over to the book thing. I know he doesn't like it, so I just tell him to go to the friend's house. Then I start getting texts from Jessie all like, "Girl, you gotta come to this party now. Your boyfriend's wasted." Lol lol, we're so wasted it keeps going, we're so wasted you need to come and stop us, I can't behave myself if you don't get here soon, and so on the book thing took longer than I thought, and I was just getting madder and madder. But I'm very non-confrontational person, so I deal with it, I call boyfriend. When it's over because I don't feel like going to this party anymore. But I was his ride, so I ask him if he needs me to come pick him up. He says, sure. I get there and don't even go inside. I am ready to release the hounds of heck on him, but he gets in my car and he is stone cold sober. I ask him if he was drinking and then show him Jessica's texts. He gets super upset and says she was lying. He wasn't even hanging directly with her, but catching up with a friend who just came back to town. He says I should have texted him letting him know what she was saying so he could confront her about it, since you don't even seem able to give that girl some boundaries. His words. Now I am thinking maybe I should talk to Jessie, but maybe she was just wasted and annoying me because she wanted me there. I don't know. I mean, this girl was really nice to me growing up when she could have been a witch. I don't like how she behaves around him, but at the same time, I don't want it to look like I don't trust her. Is there a polite way of going about it? Or should I maybe wait and see if this happens again? Am I overreacting? And there is an update. I am very thankful to all those who commented, especially the ones who encouraged me to say something and what to say. I don't like arguments, so these were very important to me. Thank you. Last night, we were alone because she wanted me to help her choose clothes for an event. I was at her place, so I thought I should say something. I wanted to say something. I was very polite and just said that I knew she meant no harm, but I didn't feel good about it. So I asked her if she could tone it down. I should have said stop, but I guess I'm weak. She didn't really say anything mean, but her attitude was a bit off, I think. She was looking at me in a scornful kind of way, and the way she smiled once I was done talking, it just felt weird. She didn't say anything else, but okay. And we just moved on to choosing her clothes, and I left after. We were supposed to go get something to eat, but she said she was tired. I'm not dumb. She was hurt. So I texted a common friend, more her friend than mine, and without getting into details, I just told him that I talked to Jess about something that was important to me, but I was afraid she may have gotten the wrong idea from it. The common friend said, look, I don't want to get involved, but you should watch it. I asked what he meant. He said nothing, just watch it. A little while after that, he texts me back and says, changed my mind. I do want to get involved and sends me a bunch of prints of texts going back and forth between him and Jessie. It basically starts with him asking her if the two of us had a fight because I was worried. He was kind with his words. I don't mind him stepping in. And then just a non-stop stream of her being horrible. She says I had a big mouth and was just judging her behavior because I'm a prude who doesn't know how to be around guys. How she taught me everything I know about having a life, and how dare I tell her what she can or cannot do, or how I should thank her for even having a boyfriend at all. Common friend actually called her out for being rude and no friend of mine. After the prince, he told me, I'm done with her. I give up and you should watch it. He also said it was okay if I told her I had the prince. I didn't though. I didn't know what to say. I mean, she's not 100% wrong, even though I know that it really hurts to read those. This morning, I wake up and see she texted me late at night. She says she knows Pete sent me the prints, and she didn't mean to be rude. But it's ridiculous that I'm jealous of her because if she wanted my boyfriend, she could just have him. You want me to prove it, so I'm being silly and should just drop it, is what she meant. She ends it with kisses and a joke. He says, so I don't know if she was being playful, apologizing, threatening, or being pragmatical. I didn't answer her yet. I wish I could talk to someone about this, but I am very private. I usually go to Jessie with these things. Help, my boyfriend is having spicy sleep with her. A friend convinced some other friends to send me prints of texts between themselves and either my boyfriend or best friend. They are pretty clear. I confronted my boyfriend and he looked lost. He said he loves me and it was just spicy sleep. He says Jessie kept throwing herself at him, teasing him, and he said he didn't like her but still wanted to hang out. He said he just had spicy sleep with her to see if she would move on and leave him alone. He says he won't do it anymore and he doesn't even like her. He loves me. And he asked me to please forgive him. From the text, once I finally made it through them all, I think that Jessie went to the party where me and boyfriend met because she wanted to hook up with him. She had it bad for him, but he didn't feel the same way. She was trying to get him to break up with me and then to get me to break up with him. It worked. As of yesterday, he's a single man. In some of those texts, they're talking about some of the hookups. I feel like throwing up. I blocked him because he was still trying to get in touch. I ghosted her, but she just sent me a message saying she just heard what happened. And you know this was probably for the best, right? And I feel like effing screaming. I don't know if this is an update or just me venting. Thanks for listening either way. I don't want to sound melodramatic or sappy or anything, but you all brought me to tears. We keep hearing about how it is insanity to rely on the internet for personal connections, but I just lost a boyfriend, a best friend, and a whole group of friends. And instead of feeling alone, I am more and more feeling like, yeah, that was the right thing to do. I'll be okay. It still hurts, but not as much as it would have had I really been alone. I can't even begin to thank the sub. I really don't know what to say. Even on my previous posts that didn't get as many responses, it was some of the comments there that made me approach the cheating thing knowing I had to break up and move on. So it changed my life in this moment. And considering I'll be doing a lot of soul searching on toxic relationships, this probably changed my life for good. So thank you all so much for reaching out to a stranger. This community is so precious. And I got a gold. I don't even know what to say. Thank you so much. I don't mean to sound ungrateful, but I don't even know how much a gold costs. And this is an alt account, so it won't really be used. Anyway, why am I reading this? There's an update. More update. Let's get into it. More. My best friend believes I owe her everything, including my boyfriend. I said I'd come back if anything relevant happened. Ooh. Ex-boyfriend kept trying to get in touch with me through common friends. They kept asking me to unblock him and at least cheer him out because he was really sorry and he loved me. Someone even went as far to ask me if I was really sure it happened. They offered to send me prints of texts where he was talking about me so I'd see how he always had great things to say and how much he cared. But I've had it with the print screen drama for life and said no. To the ones who insisted, I told them I wasn't unblocking him, had nothing to say or hear, and if they kept pushing me, I'd block them too. I ran into ex-boyfriend at this book thing I go to often, hobby of mine. Maybe I'm being presumptuous, but I think he went there for me. He didn't really have any business there, but I'm just speculating really. He asked if I had a few minutes for coffee. I said I was late. He walked me to my car. He looked so good, smelled great, he was so sweet, was even wearing his hair the way I like it. I felt horrible. Because even after everything I still like him. He apologized some more, said he knew I needed time and space. But asked if I'd consider giving him another chance, because he would wait for me, said he would never talk to Jessie again, and would act like they had restraining orders against each other. And I just found it real funny how everything he was saying required me trusting him, which I don't. So I told him I wasn't interested anymore and he should move on. I wish I said something snappier or wittier, but I had nothing. This was Saturday. I haven't heard from him or friends since I think that was that. Jessie also kept trying to talk to me. Like I told some of you on comments, I had a trip coming up. It would have been me, Jessie, ex-boyfriend, and a few friends. Since Jessie couldn't afford it, my parents paid for most of her expenses. She must have remembered this right after everything went down and panicked because I had everything. Vouchers, confirmation emails, credit card info. She went crazy, even showed up at my place. I wasn't home and my roommate told her to F off. Exact words. I didn't block her at first because I admit I was having some fun watching her despair. I talked to my mom and she was amazing. Told me I should cancel everything even if it cost us money. It was fine. So I did. And for one last bit of print screen drama, I printed all the emails I got confirming cancellations and sent those to Jessie with the word cancel. Before blocking her, my roommate has been amazing. We were never really close and now I don't even know why. She canceled plans with her friends to stay with me and invited me to go out with them next weekend. A few of you suggested I see a therapist and I did yesterday. I really liked it. It was just one appointment and I mostly just talked, but it felt good. She gave me homework. She talked a little about unhealthy and harmful relationships and asked me to think about my friendship with Jessie and try to point out what was healthy and what was unhealthy about it. Made me realize she was never really my friend. She was taking advantage of me for years, and she even had me thanking her for it. Therapist also told me about this saying. I think that's what it is. The self-absorbed person's prayer, which goes something like that didn't happen. If it did, it wasn't my fault. If it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, then you deserved it, which is totally how Jessie is handling this whole thing now. So good riddance indeed. And a final piece of gossip. Pete talked to me yesterday. He's checking up sometimes. He's a good guy. Again, he's attracted to the same gender in case someone is still thinking this might turn into a romantic comedy. He said Jessie was super sure that since I broke things off, she and Op's boyfriend would hook up right away. But apparently he doesn't have the same plans, and that freaked her out over the weekend. Pete says he's really a mess and went out drinking hard 4 nights in a row to the point he has to be carried home by his pals. And yesterday, they all went out for lunch at this burger place. Jessie was going to run her fingers through his hair or something, and he just pushed her away and told her to stop and to never touch him again. Great that now he manages to do that, huh? I guess in the end, he really did like me in his sick way. The thing is, I don't want to be with someone who likes me in a sick way. I want to be with someone who likes me in a healthy way. I think I deserve that. I'm also thinking about taking the money I got back from the trip to go somewhere else by myself. Haven't decided though. Do it. Anyway, this will be the final update on this since it is unlikely that I will have anything new to add. Now I think I just need time to heal and let go. You know, I might come back in a few months if there's a reason to do a Yay Life is Awesome Now post. But I wanted to post this update now because I wanted to end this whole story on a bright note. And of course, thank you all again. You are the best. And that is the end of that story. My husband's boss claimed they had an affair, but I refused to believe it. My husband and I went through a bit of a rough patch financially speaking a while ago. Luckily, he's got a good job now, and we're happy. He got a job thanks to an old female coworker, may I add, and he was very grateful. She's his direct boss now, and that's why I'm in a bit of a pickle. He has been in this new job for a few months, and everything seemed good. The job is mostly remote, but he has to occasionally travel to another city to meet with clients or his boss. Let's call her Rebecca. Rebecca calls him regularly. Nothing weird there. She's his boss. Sometimes he'll put her on speaker if he's doing something like making coffee, cooking, or cleaning. So I've heard their interactions, and they're pretty normal. She doesn't call him after hours, and my husband is the sort of guy who goes to sleep around 8-ish. I'm the one who stays up later than he does, which is why this has me very confused. Yesterday, my husband had to travel yet again for work. He arrived at the city early, called me after his meeting. I went about my day, and we talked again in the evening when he was back at home. Mind you, he stays with his sister and husband, so he's pretty much accounted for at all times. I don't think Rebecca knew that he was staying with relatives. By the way, today my husband called me as soon as he got up. We talked for a bit, and he told me he was going to pick up some things from the office and head home. A while ago, he sent me his location when he hit the road, and that's where he's at right now, around 3 hours of travel. Rebecca contacted me almost as soon as my husband hit the road, which I'm beginning to think was her plan all along. She sent a long text telling me that my husband has been making advances at her, and that she was very sorry to inform me that he had been unfaithful to me with her. That she felt awful knowing that we were parents, and that it was her guilt which urged her to reach out to me and tell me the truth. I was, as one would expect, speechless and confused by her message. I firstly thanked her for her message. You know, trying to be supportive of who I thought was a brave woman speaking up. And I asked her when everything had happened and if she had any proof. And this is where things got kind of messy. She sent me screenshots of a conversation that dated a few weeks prior. And the picture on the screenshots was the same that my husband has, but the way he wrote was strange. My husband is very careful about his punctuation, almost to a fault. And those texts were plagued with mistakes. He also supposedly sent a lot of emojis of hearts, the eggplant, the peach, and a fire. And I mean, not that it's anyone's business, but he doesn't do that. He hates writing with emojis or sending stickers. He has told me that words are enough to communicate and that emojis are lazy or a way to soften up the blow. His words, not mine. I mean, he could be using emojis with a lover, but how would I know? But that struck me odd. Finally, she told me that he had gone to his hotel the previous night, at his insistence. I know for a fact that can't be true, because he called me from his sister's home yesterday and even put me on speaker so I could say hi to sister-in-law and brother-in-law. But Rebecca even put the name of the hotel in her text. She was being very specific, as if trying to prove that she had receipts. I asked her what time they were at his hotel, and she blew up at me, telling me that I was victim shamming her, questioning her when she was just being honest, and that she didn't have to tell me at all, but that she was doing it out of sorority interest. And that she has sent me proof about his infidelity and so on. Since she's his boss, I didn't push it further. I simply thanked her and didn't ask anything else. Here's the thing. I don't think he cheated on me. I think Rebecca's making this whole thing up. Why? My best guess is that she's got a crush on him or something, but I'm wondering if I'm being naive. I want to speak to my husband, obviously, but how do I approach this? My biggest fear, to be honest, is for him to lose his job over this. Again, I'm having a hard time believing he would cheat on me. Am I being too naive? First of all, thank you for all your advice. Being the anxious creature I am, I spent the best half of afternoon researching laws in Mexico regarding relationships between bosses and subordinates. Turns out consensual relationships are not illegal in Mexico, unless the company states so. But contacting any family member of the employee for any personal matter is considered intimidation in the workplace. And of course, in the case where nothing happened, it's also spicy-related intimidation and should be reported. Now, that being said, how things should happen and how they actually happen are often two very different situations in Mexico. Sorry, but that's the truth about my beloved country. As a note, someone asked why he sent his location for safety reasons. We always send each other our location when we go out of the house for more than half an hour. His family does the same and mine, too. I don't know if it's a paranoid thing to do, but we feel somehow safe. So without further ado, I followed some of your advice. I took screenshots of everything. I don't know if she'll delete some. I spoke to sister-in-law and asked her if he had, for whatever reason, left her home at some point during the night. He didn't. He cooked pasta for them, took a shower and put on pajamas and went asleep early. Sounds like him, to be honest. When he arrived, we had lunched. He played with the kids, acted normal, nothing weird. But he noticed me being strange and asked if something had happened at work. I put on a movie for the kids and then brought him upstairs and told him that I needed to see his text messages first, and then I would explain to him why. That I trusted him completely, but I had to make sure about something, and that I would take screenshots. He handed me his phone without a second thought. First, I went to see his last used emojis, as some of you suggested. And funnily enough, it was the ones he had sent me a while ago. I can't go into detail as to how I know, but they were random enough for me to know. Secondly, his conversation with Rebecca was there, without any deleted messages, going back to even before he got the job. Neither of them had sent anything remotely flirtatious or inappropriate. As soon as I checked that, I gave it back to him and told him I didn't need to check anything else. To be honest, the second he handed it to me, I knew he wasn't hiding anything. I then explained what had happened. He was surprised, angry, and confused, and then sat down and sighed. He told me he would resign the next day if that was what it would take for me to believe him, but I told him no. I admitted to having come to the internet for help yet again and showed him my post. He thanked me for believing in him, laughing at the word angel. We both did. I had to Google it. I don't want to get into too many details because there's probably going to be an update once we put into motion our plan. But the main takeaway right now is that he did not cheat, and that she's doing this out of rejection on his end, so yeah. Hopefully people will learn to take rejection in a more healthy manner. But in the meantime, They do make great stories, don't they? Husband and I are good, scared about the future once more, but hopeful. Again, thank you for your support and good advice. And that is the end of that story.